my favorite part of building the patio was the fact that we all did it together. It was so fun. You know, had I only been doing it by myself, it would have been a real pain in the ass. So tell me about one of your favorite experiences around the fire that you've had here at my house. One of your favorite memories. I mean, I'm hopeful that you have a memory
Oh yeah,
of being
I
here.
think it's just being with people. It brings everyone together. A fire always brings everyone together because usually people are cooking when there's a fire. That goes back millions of years, and that's it. The camaraderie.
Yeah, hard one, but
Hard
you
one.
got it. We know, we felt it in our hearts. Thank you. So here's a technical question, Craig.
Yeah.
You know, we made the choice to lay the planks over the pit area that was prepped and ready for the bricks. Do you feel like that was the most strategic way we could have handled that situation? Would you have done anything differently?
I would not have. That was a great technique, laying two 2x12 planks over the side so we could work on it. I mean, I'm kind of a clumsy guy, so I like, knock stuff around. And once we had that fine layer, that inch layer of sand, we wanted it to be nice and smooth. And we worked so hard to make sure it was perfect and level. Had we not done that, I would have been knocking stuff around. Then we'd have to keep fussing with it. So that was a great technique. I thought it was great. Dawn did better at navigating the plank. I'm a little bit wider than Dawn, so I had a harder time navigating that 2x12 plank, but it was great. That was the technique. And then we had it nice and solid and easy. And then when we would move it farther and farther out every time we went, no harm. No, nothing done. No harm, no foul. All right.
You mentioned that one of your favorite accoutrements of construction is knee pads. Tell me
did,
about how
yes.
knee pads played into bricklaying and this process of patio prep.
Knee pads play into the process of everyday life, really, because I'm too old. And my best piece of advice to a young construction person is, they're always like, "Oh, why are you wearing those knee pads?" I'm like, "Because I'm in my 50s." "No, you're in your 20s, like you don't need knee pads." But you know what? By the time you're 50, you're gonna wish you'd been wearing knee pads the whole time. Knee pads, one of the most important tools in construction. It really is.
Wow.
Save those knees, because there's so many times where you're like, "Oh, I'm doing this and this and I don't need knee pads," and all of a sudden you got to kneel down and you kneel on like a screw or something, or a nail, or something sticking out of the subfloor. Forget it, man. You don't get hurt that way. I love knee pads.
So my worry about building this fire pit base was how we're going to hold the outer rings together, the outer bricks together. So I went and bought a garden edging plastic and wrapped that around. And then I took a rope and tied a rope around it, put a trucker's knot in it, and pulled that real tight to keep the edging in place.
Wow.
That's a great idea.
Yeah, I'm brilliant.
Hello, Donald.
Hi, Julia.
Question for you. So if you were going to give one hot tip about building your own brick patio, what do you think is the most important thing people should consider?
Digging down so you can put a firm base of gravel down and then compact that base.
So not skimping on the prep work,
Get your kids to dig down at least 10 inches.
10.
And then put crushed gravel in there, not their pea gravel. You need the crushed gravel with sharp edges so it binds up.
Okay.
and then get a plate compactor to run it over, and then put about an inch of sand over the top of that before you set the bricks.
Yeah, like the last video that we showed people, we were like right on.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay,
One
great.
of the things that I think is really important to share in the second part of actually constructing and holding the patio together was the use of this landscape edging here that you can see barely at this point. Now, when we installed it around the patio, once we had the brick in place, one of the pieces was that there was a lip that came up, you know, maybe an inch at the most, but around the entire perimeter of the circle. And so Dawn, as you see in the video, used a Sawzall to cut that. And that was definitely the best tool. We tried to use just a hand saw, and that didn't work at all because it's quite thick and also quite bendy. And so the Sawzall really made that a doable process and a clean process. And then he used the propane torch, which was really a cool idea I would never have thought of, because that melted the edge so that it wasn't rough. Because imagine if you're like out here barefoot in the summer and you're stepping on like rough plastic, that could be a rude awakening coming in, or any sort of discrepancy where it was so much higher, you know, you could trip potentially. So like using that little torch moment to melt down the rough edges and the higher edge was really a great move.
So Julia, what was your favorite part of building this patio?
Well, my favorite part of building the patio was the fact that we all did it together. It was so fun. You know, had I only been doing it by myself, it would have been a real pain in the ass. Would have been like a ton of work and really not that much fun. But because we all worked as a team on the weekend and we laughed and shared stories and like problem solved together, that was my favorite part. And that now we get to share it together and everyone's invested in it because they helped. And then when they're here, it's like they take pride in the fact that they helped build it.
All right. What do you think your next project is?
Well, Craig, I'm really excited to get y'all back here for building some kind of a little water feature right here. Because see this pile of rocks that is not very attractive. I really want this to be something that is lovely to sit by, and you can hear the water, and it kind of incorporates this bush back here, sort of a feel. So let's get it in your calendars. Another
All right.
job upcoming. Well, Craig, what are you doing right now?
I'm stopping and smelling the flowers. Because sometimes that's what you have to do. So many people just pass right by the flowers. And they might smell them from a distance, but they don't get up close and smell them like this.
Go gentle on the flowers, please.
No.
I did put some deer spray on there. I wonder if you can taste it.